All right, everybody, welcome to the Service MVP podcast. My name is Joe Crisara, America's Service Sales Coach, and we are here with one of my best clients and somebody who I think we'd all be inspired by his story. Him and his wife, Nancy Jaramillo, run a business called Amazing Air Solutions in San Antonio, Texas. Roy, welcome to our program here today. I really appreciate you being here.
Well, thank you, Joe. I appreciate you giving me the opportunity. It means a lot, so I'm very blessed to be here, sir. Thank you.
Well, Roy runs a true family business. He has his spouse Nancy, who runs things over there and keeps things organized in the back end, and does a lot of the probably the heavy lifting, right? And Roy is able to go out there and do his keep people comfortable in the great city of San Antonio, and he's got his sons and his family and his daughter involved too. So today's meeting is going to be about I call it the 3 things you should know about running a true family business when the entire family is involved. And listen, it's always progress, not perfection, right, Roy? We can't say it's always going to be perfect.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
And so that's the thing. We have to give ourselves forgiveness. Roy, why don't you start by telling people a little bit about yourself so they can understand who you are and your background a little bit? Do you mind sharing that with us?
Yeah, sure, no problem, Joe. As you already know, I started back in '02. Um, wasn't really going anywhere with the jobs I had. My wife was the one that actually told me to go back to school for it, which I did. And I was able to learn the terminology and the components behind it, actually getting a job as well too as I was going to school for it. So it was really good for me to start something good. Um, Became really good at it, installer, maintenance, service tech, and I was able to sell really good in the very beginning process. So I never looked back. It was something that I was fond to it. I really enjoyed riding by myself in the vehicle, so I was like my own boss. So it was fun. I really enjoyed it. Nancy was the backbone, and she actually helped me with it.
Roy, let's talk about when you first decided to go into business and things like that. And how important, like you've been part of this sales process for a number of years now, both with another company and also on your own now at this point. Tell us a little bit about your decision to finally do this, and what was the thing that triggered you and Nancy to say, you know what, let's give this a go on our own. Let's not take the safe route. The safe route is just be an employee and put your head down and go to work and do this type of thing. What was the thing that inspired you and Nancy to go ahead and take this risk, if you will, to start this kind of a business?
Well, as I mentioned, like I said, I saw how good I was with helping out people, providing the service, and making money for uh, the big box man, I guess you would say. And so I was able to utilize what I've learned through all these other companies. And I only worked for 3 companies in my whole time, but I was able to utilize all the stuff that I learned, the skills, the terminology, and bring it to my side and take a risk on going out there. The bad part was I started back in September, and it was like slow peak. And so I was like, oh my God, what did I just do? But I
Hmm.
kept in there. I hanged in there with my wife, and we were just back to back. At that time, it was just, I was doing everything on my own. She was still working for somebody else. But we got to a point where we were able to just, you know what, let's just run with it and make it happen.
That's really great. Roy, let's go over. Obviously, you've got your daughter and you got 2 sons. Roy, how many kids? How many children do you have inside your business
There's
over
5 of
there
us
now?
together.
5 together. So you got you and your wife, and then the 3 children, right?
Yeah, my
That's great.
daughter and my 3 boys.
Well, sometimes here's my thing. Although I'm America's Service Sales Coach, sometimes I can't get my own family to accept my coaching. Does that does that make sense?
Yes.
Roy, tell us some of the challenges and some of the victories, or what are some of the key points that keep you and Nancy centered as you have your whole family involved, which is definitely, I think, a great way to do it. I think it's the true family American business. Nothing typifies America more than the entire family being involved. When I was a kid, I had my grandfather's business I was involved with and things like that. Roy, tell me a little bit about the decision to get the entire family involved and all that part of it there. And so if you can tell us tell us one thing you should know first if you do get your family involved. So start with the step number 1, or the first thing that people should know if they do have their family involved with the business. What are some of the boundaries and rules that you kind of set with the company and with your family too?
Well, first you have to have loyalty to each other. That's number one, because if you don't have loyalty, you can't rely on someone to do a certain job for you, or you can't go to a certain event and not worry about it. Second is respect. It's a family, but we have to respect each other. We have to have the loyalty to be able to say, you know what, I'm going to take care of you. Don't worry about it. I'm going to take care of this, and vice versa itself. I think the main one that would fall in this category is being able to have a solid foundation within the company and the family itself, and that becomes a religion thing there for us. There, we start around our business, our foundation, our pillars with the strength of God. So that's priority right there for us. That makes it bond together.
So you sort of have a priority system mapped out in the family.
Correct.
Is God's first, and then family second, and then the business third, or things like that. Is that something? Am I on the right track? I don't want to put
So
words in your
business
mouth.
is last. So it's God first, family, then myself, and then business.
And that tell us how you use that kind of thing. Tell some of the other families out here, or people who are running a family business, about some of the things you've done that or some such situations that can take place that you have to lean on those three priorities in your life, in your value system, if you will, right?
Yes.
Can you give us an example of how something like that comes into play when you're dealing with you got two sons who are very active in the business, and they're revenue producers and things like that, and then you got yourself and your daughter who is answering the phones and doing the office stuff like that. Give us an example of how that kind of stuff comes out when you're talking specifically, I think, to your children. I think the husband and wife, I think sometimes we definitely give each other space and that part of it there, but sometimes with the kids, they're not always on the same page, right? I mean, not
Yeah.
just
Correct.
from business, but even in life in general. Makes sense there, Roy?
Well,
Where
my
did you tell me a
correct.
little about your parenting, and where you learned how to kind of corral those kids to make sure they are staying with the family value system here.
Well, Joe, it goes back to when they were youngsters. When I was young, my guidance was a little different. The struggle was real, I guess you would say, for me, and I didn't want that for my children. So my children learned how to pray when they were very young. We started at the table. We would go to church. We would do all that stuff. So it's already implemented, seated in their body, and all they got to do is water it. And so every now and then I'll go in there and water it as well too. So they're very fond about that as well too. So they know where their back room's at, and so it starts. I guess I would say it starts at the very beginning of the process of building a family together. You have to show them the right way, and what is the right way for me? It was my religion, sticking together as a family. I think you've heard it before. A family that prays together stays together.
That's a good one. I haven't heard
Yeah,
it. It's like your ego's not your amigo, but with
correct.
prayer involved instead. That's really great.
Exactly.
Uh,
Yeah.
uh, Roy, tell me a little bit about just like I know you're in the total immersion service and sales system. Tell me about. Some people tell me that the program that we have sometimes it winds up going into your personal life in a way. Does that make sense? Is that fair to say that, Roy?
You're true. That is so true, Joe.
Yeah,
It's
can you
so
tell me
true.
how does the training that you've gotten from us in being able to persuade people to do things, how has that wound itself into your family? How is that part of created part of your family culture together? Can you tell me a little bit about that?
As a human being, we all have like a low self-esteem, and it needs to get caressed by somebody every single day. And so, as a parent and as an owner, I feel that it's very important to give gratitude to someone that deserves it, even though they're having a bad day. Hey, keep your head up. It's going to get better. Let's keep rolling. I'm right here with you. This is on me. It's my fault. This is the reason why we're going through this situation because of me. I think Service MVP has been phenomenal for us to embrace it. I love it. I wouldn't be here right now if it wasn't for you guys. I do have different mentors that I have to give a lot of credit to, but that's for another story. But you guys are very important to me and my family, and so whatever we're learning, it's actually used in our personal family as well too. So there's a lot to it other than self-esteem. There's confidence. There's I think there's a 12 law of persuasion, emotionally wise, and all that has to be taken care of.
Hmm. Tell me, how have things progressed? You have how long has the business been in place right now, Roy? How long have you been in business for?
since '08.
Oh, wait,
For
wow. So
quite a
you've been doing
while.
this
Yeah.
quite a while. So since '08, you've been doing this business, and so has it had? Have you seen over the recent last couple of years some changes in the direction and the success of the company? Tell me a little bit about what was like in the beginning and what's it like now for you. Can you give us a little example of that?
It was tough. It's been tough the last couple of years. Anyone that has the knowledge could install an outdoor unit, a gas furnace. But when you get into the core numbers of the company, how to run a business itself, that takes a lot. That's where Nancy comes in for me. She does her part for with all the numbers. It's helped us tremendously. I mean, our average ticket has gone up for maintenance, demand service, marketing, all that stuff. I mean, our numbers have been just skyrocket. So I wish I would have found you guys a lot earlier, for sure, because it's been a little struggle trying to find a good sales process. And I'm one to always go out there and take a look. Before I came across you guys, I was doing everything I can out of the book to try to make it successful. As soon as I came across you guys, oh my God, it was an open light for me. I cut everybody out, and we're just focusing on you guys here. So it's been a good ride with you.
Right at the heart of your business, people say find your why in a way. You heard that one before as to why you do. So, what is the reason why that you try to tell your family and your team as to why does why does Amazing Air exist? You say, what's the reason why we serve the community and serve your family like this? What's your why, Roy? If you have an idea about that?
I guess my why would be when I was, and this is going back to my history, but I lost my mother when I was 27 years old. And I wish I would have been a lot better serving her, showing her love, being able to provide more stuff for her as well too. But I think it goes back to my roots. I want to strive to serve the community, to put a smile on someone's face, to show love with a nice firm handshake, a hug. You'll be surprised how many customers are out there are eager just to talk to you, invite me in for breakfast, for a cup of coffee. So it's phenomenal to embrace that and to give that back to the community. I think it's a service that we have to do, one with religion, but also two to make connections.
That's really great. Roy, actually, you probably don't realize this, but I actually learned from you. When I see how you treat Nancy with so much respect and as an equal in the business, you're not acting like you're. What I can see from my point of view is that you're not a power hungry dude who thinks that the universe revolves around yourself, right? That you and Nancy are true equal partners in this, is what I see, and you don't defer because you fear her reactions and things like that. It seems like you guys have a truly honest relationship with each other. Could you expand a little bit more on that and how? Because it seems like that's the core of the family business, is that the fact that you and Nancy can be honest with each other allows you to be honest. That everybody else expects that honesty from your family. Am I off track on that? Tell me a little bit about that.
No, I think we have a strong bonding. Nancy and I go way back to middle school, and I won't go deep into that, but yeah, we have a strong bond that it's unbreakable. You can't break it. The only way we're going to break it is ourselves. And again, having the core value of religion around us, the love, peace, happiness, freedom, um, the trust, the loyalty, the faith that we're going to be able to lean on yourselves and be able to walk hand in hand. I love her. She's one of the best things that ever happened to me in my life, and I wouldn't trade her in for anything.
Uh-huh. Well, give me an example of some of the things that Nancy has to handle as opposed to Roy. Like, and you got this, you got the thing where something like, yeah, she'll just be better at this than I would be, and I know there's things that you're better at too. But what would you say her strengths are, Roy, when you're when something really things hit the fan in a certain way? Where does Nancy shine the most? What do you think is her strengths that really add so much to this business?
Oh, she'll hold me accountable for it. She'll sit me down. She tell me, this is your business. You need to run it this way, or this is what's going to happen. And she'll put it on me like, Joe, like it makes me furious because I'm a grown man.
Yeah, yeah.
Who are you to tell me? But I got to come back to reality and understand, like, hey, okay, I get it. What are we going to do now? Other than that, she could make a real good cup of coffee, Joe.
Whoa, that is
Yes,
priceless. I can't even put a
correct.
price on that.
Oh, I
No,
love it.
no, no doubt about that. No doubt about that. Well, I can tell. I would say between you two, I've noticed that she's kind of like the conscience of the company in a way. Does that make sense? Like,
Mhm.
when everybody else is kind of getting a little bit out there, she kind of centers things. Is that am I on the right track on that? That's my point of view. Can you just talk a little bit about that? How she's sort of a stabilizing force? Am I on the right track there, or can you
Oh yeah,
expand on that
most
a little bit? Tell
definitely.
me more.
Yeah, most definitely. Before I even walk out, she's like, "What's the deal? What's the plan? You need to come back and let us know what's going on with these jobs we got going on." So she's like the whip. If you get out of track, out of line, she's gonna whip you. Put you back in track.
Well, it must be the nicest whip I've ever seen because she's pretty. She does it with she does it with a very warm smile. I can see
She
that
does.
for sure.
She
And
does.
she does it. Yes, firm but fair. I would say is the way to
Correct.
describe her, right?
Correct. Yes.
Right. What's your
Yes.
superpower in the family business? What would you say that you say that you got to do things? I mean, if she's the whip, what are you? You're the feather. You're the one who takes it easy on people. Or tell me a little bit about that.
I'm the good guy. I'll be like, "Hey, look, all right, stop. She's gonna whip all of us, so let's get on track. We got to do it no matter what." Before I was the voice of the company, I kind of got pushed back, and so she's taken over a lot. So that's pretty awesome. I'm excited. Yeah,
How do
it's
you
fun.
what advice would you give to couples who are in this business like this? Now, of course, you have the additional complication of both your daughter and your two sons in the business as well. But, sometimes they taking the business home with you. It's almost impossible not to. I mean, you probably spend a lot of time at work talking about work, and you probably spend a lot of time at home talking about work. What kind of boundaries have you set for yourself in that regard, Roy? Can you tell us a little bit about that and how difficult is it to stay just centered on when you guys first met and back in middle school, and there's that kind of that relationship you had when you were younger, and try to make sure you stay centered on that. What kind of boundaries have you set for yourself to make sure that this doesn't get out of control in terms of the business overrunning your relationship? Tell us about that.
Nancy, just like me, we could work all day, all night, um, and treated. We treat ourselves with the most high respect. Um, I- it's just one of those deals that once you're in it, and there's no turning back itself. And I could be at Vegas enjoying my good old time. I could be in Florida. I always find myself back at home trying to figure out what's going on with the business itself. I think for us, it's just like that communication. Um, the trust is there that I know I could trust her to do what she's gonna do, and she's gonna go beyond it. Even when she clocks out, she's going beyond for me. It's very respectful for me, and I know that she's doing it for us to prosper. So, and vice versa, I will do whatever it takes for her to one to be happy. Two, also to make sure that we're lined up with everybody's lined up as a good strong pillar for the company itself.
Well, Roy, this is a sales training podcast, I guess they call it. So, what kind of sales training tips can you give us? Some quick tips that you've learned from either us or other people that you can give contractors to at this time of year, especially, is probably a struggle for a lot of people. What can you do to give a few of your best tips you can give to the average contractor out there who is looking to you for a little guidance? What would you say?
I would say definitely invest into yourself. I mean, even though it may be slow, it's one thing you to do is to build your knowledge, your wisdom, be ready to go when the phone call starts to ring. You have to be built for that. You can't just dwell on it. You have to continue to build your sales tactics, your maintenance tactics, whatever the case may be that provides income coming in. But you want to be able to provide that service for that customer. Role playing with yourself. I always catch myself role playing with myself in the mirror when I'm driving. I mean, we got a thing where we walk around and one of the kids will say, "Hey, look, can you email me that invoice, please?" And all of a sudden we have to stop and we go into the preparation of the benchmark and how to come back on that. So
Mhm.
it's pretty awesome. We have a lot of fun with it, Joe. I would definitely say just continue working through it, build your knowledge, your wisdom, grip whatever you're learning, and it's going to pay off.
So it's
You
got
have
to
to
be
implement it.
invest in yourself to get the material for yourself, to get the reading
Correct.
material or videos. And 'cause I know you're an avid learner, you're always reading books and things like that too, and investing in
Yes.
that. And then you're saying take action, don't just learn it, but put it into practice. Is that fair to say that, right?
Take action and follow through. That's the confidence right there.
Confidence
Make a
and
decision,
actions.
take action, yeah, and follow through.
Well, Roy, let me just say, they always say a great podcast starts on time. A good one starts on time, and a great one ends on time, Roy. I know it's been kind of quick here, and I could talk to you all day, obviously. And so someday we probably will do that and sit down and talk more. But Roy, thank you for being here today. I definitely. Any final thoughts you have for your couples out there who are running their own business that you would like to just give them? Any kind of final thoughts of wisdom that you can give them?
Yeah, definitely. Invest into yourself, invest into your business, audio books, events. Take the risk, because in order for you to succeed, you have to fail and understand the failing part of it, so you won't have to redo it again. Invest into yourself, into your company, and take the risk. Always believe in God, and you'll succeed in life. And I just want to leave this last note, Joe. It's by the great Les Brown. You shoot for the moon, because if you miss, you'll land among the stars.
That's really good there, Roy. That's a great one. Some great motivational statements right there. I will definitely put that
Definitely.
as our promo for the podcast. Roy, thank you so much for being with us again here today. And definitely, it's a pleasure. My life got 100% better the day I met you as well. And it was like you and Nancy are a marriage made in heaven. I also feel like our company and your family is also a marriage made in heaven, Roy. Thanks for making our life so much easier and
You're
better
very
just
welcome.
being part of it. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Joe. Appreciate your time.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much. We'll see you on the next episode. Goodbye, everybody. Okay. Hold on a second. Trying to do this without screwing it up. All right.